Hey, what's going on, folks? Already got a visitor. Anyway, we're going to talk some baseball tonight. We have a little panel with us tonight. Going to talk a little bit of the Yankees, a little bit of the Mets, and tonight we're going to learn about the Houston Astros as well. Returning guest, let's get started. All right, Miss Down. Hi, yes. All right, here's the mascot popping in. Already showing that she's jealous that I'm on here. Let's do it. Let's bring in Joe. What's up, Joe?
Not much. Great to be here. My first baseball show of the year, besides the Hojo interview a couple of weeks ago, but excited to talk
I
some
was just gonna
baseball.
say we talked to Howard Johnson. That was fun.
That was great.
Um, but yeah, we haven't had a show since, so let's get it rolling, right?
All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying the season so far and looking forward to talking about it.
All right. Let's do it. Phoenix down. She's hyper tonight, kids. Next, we're gonna bring in our Houston guy, Marcus.
What is up, everybody? Good to be back.
Yes, what's going on, Mark?
Oh, not much. Watching a little bit of
up?
AEW and checking on the Astros and the Blue Jays right now. It's kind of crazy. I'm not there to watch George Springer play his former team right now.
Well, we'll get into your team breakdown in a minute. You're on some IL
Yeah, I don't know.
IL hurting right now. That's my guess.
I'm gonna say it's because Altuve's out. I feel like once he comes back, then we're gonna be on a hot roll again.
We'll talk about that. And next, we're going to bring in our newest little panel here tonight. He's jumping around, joined a couple shows so far. XFL, USFL with us, with Evan at the Lake House. And Jamie, how are you, man?
I'm great, Adam. It's a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, as Adam just mentioned, this is my second show this week. Last night I was talking USFL with you, Adam, and Evan, as I mentioned, and tonight I'm going to be talking baseball representing the Yankees. And last time I checked, they were up 2-0. Aaron Judge hit a nice 2-run blast, and earlier he also took away a home run from Shohei Ohtani of the Angels, which was cool to see. And where you guys can follow me out is on Twitter. You can follow me at Jamie Malloy at DJ Dog Tags, and I'm consistently growing my followers every day. So if you can keep following me and help continue to grow my followers, that would be big. And tomorrow you can also catch me on the same platform on YouTube, as I'll be doing my regular XFL show with Evan on YouTube. So yeah, I'm very excited to talk about the Yankees and baseball with everybody tonight. So yeah, let's begin.
Yeah. Welcome to the program, Jamie. Let's get this ball rolling. Start with Jamie, I guess. Why not? The Yankees are first on my list. Josh Donaldson set to return. Is that going to help this lineup more?
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely help, because he isn't that, like, he's okay offensively. Like, he can get clutch hits at times, but he's more of a defensive player. Like, his presence is more at third base, where he'll get the big scoops out in the third base, where he'll dive for the big plays, and he's very good at setting up the double plays and getting the key outs to like second and first base when needed. But the real big issue is Giancarlo Stanton being injured for 6 weeks. But that's kind of typical with Stanton, because he's a great home run hitter, but he always seems to injure his lower body and is always seems hurt for the first half of the season. Then he always bounces back and hits a lot of home runs, and that takes away some of the home run hitting. But the Yankees do have good starting pitching. The one issue I'm concerned with is that they got a very young bullpen with a lot of rookies, and I do think they need to get a consistent closer to close out games right now, because Clay Holmes is very inconsistent with that.
He's got 4 saves on the year. He is my fantasy closer, so I do pay attention. Joe, Speaking of injuries, how's that bullpen looking at yours with Diaz down for the year?
They're making it work. They got that former Yankee that they got, Robertson, looking pretty good. Got a couple of saves so far. They're making it work now. We'll see how well that continues to go. Obviously, it's a big loss, but I'm optimistic. I think they can make it work, and somebody else step up and be the closer. And it's going to make a difference, yes, but I think again that they're going to figure it out, and it's not going to be as big an issue, hopefully, as it could potentially be.
Marcus, you were talking about Altuve, but is McCullers a bigger injury?
Yeah, he's probably the second biggest injury. But
No,
Jose is like,
you got McCormick too on the IL.
yeah, Chas McCormick just
He was just
recently
getting
went on
hot
the
too. That
IL.
sucks.
I know, it's like we keep getting the worst luck, but I feel like once Altuve comes back, we're gonna start winning more games, and then we'll get the other two back. I think we'll start getting back on track and start having the season we should have. Yeah, this is not a good start as a defending champion, but it's still like super early in the season. There's still a whole lot of baseball left to play. There has been teams that went to the playoffs and had rough starts, and they've come and had a deep run. But I mean, right now they're up 2-0, top of the sixth. We got Luis Garcia on the mound. Jake Myers did double to center, and Hensley and Jeremy Pena both scored, making it a 2-0 run in the bottom of the second earlier today. So they're actually doing pretty better today than they did yesterday.
How long you think Brantley's going to be in AAA?
Hopefully they'll be I was listening to Locked On Astros. They said probably sometime in May he could get called back up to the main roster from the Space Cowboys. So he's going back
Are they
to
just
Sugarland.
letting him bat, run, or what are they doing? I mean, he's in AAA now, right?
Yeah, he's going back to the Space Cowboys on Sunday. He's probably going to be a hitter, mainly as a hitter.
Why are they keeping him down there so long?
Probably some off-season issues or spring training issues. I don't really keep up with the spring training like other people do, but they said that he just wasn't doing so well, and they just bumped him down to AAA.
Okay, so it wasn't a shoulder because of the shoulder surgery?
I think the shoulder surgery kind of bumped him down a bit when he started doing spring training and he wasn't 100%. And then I think it's more of like to keep him on the safe edge before he like completely re-injures himself, where he might be out longer that like Altuve already is. So I think it's kind of a safety precaution. It's not like a demotion, you could say. It's more like we're going to bump you to AAA just to kind of keep you on the safe side. We'll get you some playing time, so forth, before you come back in the big leagues when you're ready to go.
No, depending on what goes on, either you're going to stay in fourth or move up a third, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it too early to look at standings, or is it? I mean, we're 20 games in almost. Most teams are after today. Is it too early to look in the standings? Being fourth place, is that worth worrying?
It's never too early to look at standings, but like you would think right now they would be like first in their division, but instead we're third in the AL West over the Angels and the Rangers, who Rangers are like.
You guys were in fourth when I looked last night.
I didn't think the Rangers were going to be as good as what they say they are. Like I watched like 2 or 3 different games, and they actually looked pretty good. I was a little nervous going to that game Saturday, and we just played a better game than they did. Hunter Brown on the mound was just kicking ass over Cole Reagans. But I think it's Tampa Bay that got the whole world like, holy crap, you had a 12-0 start, and you still can't sell out your crappy ballpark. And now they are like, I think last I looked, they already had like 4 losses so far. So now they are 3 losses. So they're now 16-3. But I mean, they're playing better than we are. We're 8-10. Keep this going, we'll be at 9-10 after today. But I think it's still a little early. Will probably be a race between first or second, back and forth with possibly the Angels. Give the Texas Rangers, let them have their little momentum, and then I think they'll start dropping down below.
You think Seattle's going to stay out of it too, or
I was shocked Seattle was going to have a chance. No, Seattle actually hasn't impressed me at all. And I used to hate watching them staying up at 9 o'clock playing Seattle because they had more struggles playing in Seattle last season than the last 5 years.
Jamie, speaking of pitching, Rondon and Cervino, is Rondon out till May or June?
They haven't really said, but he's going to be out for a little while. Hopefully, he's going to be back in May. But I'd like to see him come back in May. He was a big free agent acquisition in December, but I do like this Johnny Brito kid. Yes, he had a bad start against Minnesota where he gave up 9 runs, but he did have a good first 2 starts. And he's a rookie, so he's only going to get better. We know he's going to get better. He's going to have more good starts than bad. And he's pitching good tonight. He's so far given up no runs and still up 2-0. But, yeah, I expect both those guys to come back in either May or June. So both those guys will be back eventually. And when they come back,
Cervino is throwing now. So, I mean, he's making a lot of progress.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. So once he comes back, and then hopefully when Rodon comes back, they're going to have an even better starting pitching staff because their starting pitching staff is already great.
Joe, speaking of pitchers, when are signs for Verlander?
They're saying at least early May he's out. And now they might have another issue because Carrasco's got bone spurs in his elbow. So he missed the start, I think, or they took him out. But he, they just found this out today. He got shots or whatever. And now he's a concern. But, yeah, Verlander at least early.
Was that today? Things just got updated on Carrasco?
I believe so. It's weird. It's like you're asking me to talk about the Mets, and I got to admit I haven't seen too much of them because they're on the West Coast lately. So you know me and late nights. Don't happen, buddy. We don't get along. But so I haven't seen as many games, but I saw the report today. I believe it did come out today. And
I saw May 3rd, and I saw May 3rd for Carrasco and Verlander to come back together.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see
that.
That
was like early this morning whenever I was filling this out real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I saw like May 5th or May 3rd, for Verlander. So hopefully that's the latest, that he comes back.
So you think Dave Robertson's going to be holding up the fort for the whole thing, or you think the Mets might make a trade?
I don't think he'll hold the fort for the whole season. I mean, he's 38 years old. So I don't know if you can count on him to do that. I think you can count on him now for sure. But I do think perhaps you get somebody else in there that if he starts wearing down, his whole career, I mean, he hasn't been a closer. I mean, he's been that setup guy. And I think that's the ultimate role for him. So I do expect them to go out and get somebody else, a proven closer. I don't know how you can get him. I don't know for what price you got to pay. But I do think eventually you get somebody else in there because I don't think he can do that for a whole season. Nothing against him because he's awesome. He's always been an awesome pitcher. He's doing a great job now. But I don't think you can, hold that responsibility over his head for the whole season.
Marcus.
Yo.
It's Corey Lee or Pedro Leon. They going to stay up here, or are they going to get sent back down, or?
Probably one or the other. One will probably stay. The other one will get dropped, either AAA or maybe AA. Because I keep forgetting they also got two teams in North Carolina I keep forgetting about. I always hear one's going to go to Corpus or one's going to go to Sugar Land. I forgot we got a team in Fayetteville and we got another team in Asheville, North Carolina.
So what is that? AA, AAA?
It's one of them's AA. I'm gonna try and pop that up real quick.
What are you doing?
So they got a single A team in Fayetteville. And then I'm gonna look at the team in the other one in Asheville. Let me see what it's called. Because someone asked me about this the other day. All right, so they got two. They got AAA. They got a AAA, a double A, a high A, and a single A. Sugarland is their AAA. Everyone knows that. That's like Sugarland, Texas is literally like a suburban Houston. It's probably like 20 minutes from downtown Houston. Like you can probably get to Constellation Field to Minute Maid Park in like 30 minutes if there's no traffic.
So it's a quick call up if they need it.
A quick call up, yes. And in my opinion, the most beautiful minor league ballpark I've ever been to in my life. Corpus is their AA team. They're the Hooks.
I've been to I've been to Rochester's outfield, Jamie. Their little field.
You have?
Yeah, the Twins. Are they still the Twins?
They're renovating it though for $26 million now.
Is that still the Twins?
No, they're the Nationals now.
They're the Nationals now. When I was there, they were the Twins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, Sugarland changed their name. They had to. I don't know why. I don't think it was offensive or anything, but they're now called the Space Cowboys, but they used to be called the Skeeters.
Mm.
But their mascot was a mosquito. It was a bug. So they had to change it from Skeeters to the Space Cowboys. Corpus Christi, they're the Hooks, but they got their baseball park's not bad. They got the best name ever. Of course, nothing but 100% Texas. Whataburger Field is the name of their baseball park. And then in North Carolina, they got the Asheville Tourists, and probably the funniest mascot ever, Fayetteville Woodpeckers. That's their minor league teams.
All right, since we're talking minor league teams, go ahead, guys.
I got videos
know.
and pictures of Constellation Field I have to show you. Like, name another ballpark that's got a tiki bar, a splash pad, and a swimming pool in the outfield. I mean, I know the Jacksonville Jaguars got a swimming pool in their stadium, but I'm talking about baseball.
Didn't the Diamondbacks have a pool in their stadium? at one
I was
point?
just going to say, Arizona Diamondbacks got that pool in right center.
Oh, Chase Field got one?
Yes.
Oh, this one's probably 3 feet. I walked past it, but now the splash pad got me.
You jumped in, Marcus. Don't lie. You jumped in there.
I was thinking about walking in it because it was 100 degrees that day. But it is a beautiful ballpark that could seat like 4,000 or 5,000 people.
So it's a good minor league field.
Beautiful minor league field. Their jumbotron shaped like the Lone Star State, and it lights up neon blue at night. It's cool.
I think the best scoreboard, though, that I've seen like through pictures is Nashville. They have the guitar.
Mm.
Oh, the minor league team in Nashville?
Yeah, the sound.
Are they still the Sounds?
I think so. They used to be the
Oh.
Yankees. They used to be the Pirates. I don't know who they are now.
My buddy DJ'd one of their games not long ago over the weekend, and he's a podcaster too out of Nashville. But he gets the actual
Is that Billy?
wrestlers on his
Is that
show.
Billy?
No, his
Marcus,
name's
is that Billy?
Battle.
Oh, you don't. Did you ever talk to Billy Graves?
No,
Oh, you should write him down.
I wouldn't mind.
They do like TNA.
I'm sending you 2 pictures and the splash pad video I posted. You should be getting them soon.
So what is your minor league teams there, Jamie? We'll start with Jamie real quick.
Our AAA team is the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees. Hold on just a sec.
So they play in Scranton Wilkes-Barre right up
That's
there
our
where the baby
AAA
Penguins
team.
play.
Let's see, the Yankees AA team is
I got everyone
the
scrambling.
Yankees AA team is the Trenton Thunder. Oh, wait, the AAA team is the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. They were the Yankees, but their AA team is the Trenton Thunder or the Somerset Patriots is low A, and their Tampa Tarpons is single A, and it's also their single A is the Charleston River Dogs and Hudson Valley Renegades.
I've been to the Bats. If Louisville is still called the Bats, Cincinnati's
That's a
AAA team?
AAA, the Louisville Bats.
Are they still the Bats?
I'm surprised they're not called the Sluggers because the factory where they make the bats, which I still haven't
Yeah,
yet
did you ever
got
go
to
there?
see. I've been to Lexington. I've never been to Louisville, but I would love to go to
You
Louisville.
go to Churchill?
Yeah, there's still the
I was going to
Louisville
say I
Bats.
want to go. If I go back to Kentucky, I want to go to Churchill, and I want to get a custom bat made from Louisville Slugger, and then I want to go
Adam, there's
see
still-
the University of Louisville also.
Adam, they're still the Louisville Bats, and they're the AAA affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds.
They've been the Red. Okay, they never changed. Okay. Marcus, you go to Churchill. We should try and get there and go for the Derby
Oh yeah, see,
and try
We
and
do
get
have
infield
a-
seats. And
they
we could
do
just drink
have
on the
a-
we could just drink on the grass all day long.
I've been to I've been to a horse race track before, but it ain't no world famous one. We have one about an hour and a half away from me. That's at a casino resort. I've been to a couple of horse races there when I was little, but it ain't no like Churchill Downs or whatever else they got famous for the Triple Crown.
Joe, what do you got? I saw you
Well,
looking it up.
I said I like it about 10 years ago when we had the Mets team here in Buffalo, but that changed, and now the Buffalo's got the Blue Jays, which is a good match. But the Mets AAA teams in Syracuse now. The Syracuse team used to be called the Chiefs, but now they're the Mets. Double A is Binghamton, which is about 3 hours from here, about 3 hours from New York. They used to be the Binghamton Mets. Now here's a name for you. I don't know where they came up with this, but they're the Binghamton Rumble Ponies at this point since a couple of years ago. And again, I don't know where they came up with that, but Tim Tebow played there in Binghamton with them for a couple of years. And then the single A team, the Brooklyn Cyclones.
I gotta ask this: when y'all had Tim Tebow in y'all's minor league, I bet their ballparks completely sold out just to watch him play.
It was full. I wish I would have gone. I mean, I'm only about 3+ hours from Binghamton, here. But yeah, they got some good crowds there when he was playing.
I've only seen him play college football 3 times, and I've been to SEC Nation twice, and I was like standing probably no more than 12 feet away from the whole cast, and I've
Wow.
seen him so close, and I've all my friends that worshipped him over the years were like blowing my phone up saying I hate you right now, try and get him to come closer and send a selfie. I didn't do that. I wouldn't go. I didn't care. I just wanted to try and get a selfie with Dumbo ears so I
Yeah.
could show him how big Paul Feinbaum's ears are. But instead, I got a selfie with LSU boy Marcus Spears instead.
Very good. No, I
Nothing wrong
caught
with
people
that.
here,
I mean, it's still a picture, right?
Yeah.
right?
What about
No,
Justin
that's it.
Verlander? How you feel about having him?
It would be nice if we could use them. Like
Still
he's
has
on
his
the
hand
injured list.
issue. Yeah, he's still hurt.
Yeah, we just discussed the early May, at the May 3rd, May 5th, something like that is the target date to come back. My only concern with him and Scherzer, I mean, they're great pitchers, but last year Scherzer kind of faded away in the stretch, and my only fear with Verlander is the same thing happening. He's not exactly, got a stellar
Well-
record in postseason either. And
Well, then before we started, Joe, also I didn't look into the story because Jay just kind of broke it to both of us. Is Scherzer going to get suspended?
Yeah, we talked about that, and based on what I read, again, I didn't see this, any highlights or video. I just read about it earlier today. Scherzer swears that he did everything that he was asked to do, and if that's the case, I don't expect him to get a suspension. I think just he was pulled from the game in the fourth inning today, or disqualified from the game in the fourth inning. I don't think he'll get the suspension. Hopefully not, as a Mets fan, but I guess we'll find out soon.
Well, Evans chimed in. Evan and Marcus are working on a basketball show.
Yeah, I want to
Friday night. You said, Mark?
Yeah, I want to talk the NBA playoffs because I've been enjoying it.
You should probably also, Marcus. You should also probably talk about how this is this is going to be the end of the NBA as we know it, because the new CBA is going to change everything with the less games in the in-season tournament. How like that could impact the new regular season ratings and everything in the game moving forward. Like how the rules for baseball did this year. So,
what did y'all see? I think it was the other day. They were already saying like Shohei is like today's Babe Ruth, and it was after the 100-year anniversary that Yankee Stadium opened. He like had that record number of home runs at the start of the season so far.
mm-hmm.
But they also were trying to throw in Aaron Judge in the conversation.
See, the reason why they highlighted Shohei is because he's a double threat. He can pitch and hit home runs, and Babe Ruth was like that too. He could pitch and bat. That's why. Because they're both two-way players. That's why.
Yeah, he's a pitcher and he's a hitter, just like Babe Ruth was. But I saw Shohei play against the Astros in 2019. He wasn't pitching that day, unfortunately, but I got to see Ohtani hit a home run at Minute Maid Park that day, even though we won the game. And that was finally got to see him play, and everyone was talking about, oh my God, I can't wait to see Mike Trout. I'm like, big deal, I already saw him. I want to see Shohei play. I thought he was going to pitch against Garrett Cole that night when we had Garrett Cole with the Astros still, but no, it was somebody else that was on the mound for the Angels. But we won the game that night. I think it was like 3-0 or 3-1. It was a close game a few years back.
Did we get that matchup this week? Ohtani pitched against the Yankees. Did Cole pitch too?
He got robbed of a home run by Judge today.
Well, no, I mean, did Cole? I know Cole pitched what? Did Cole pitch a game of this, and Cole and Ohtani, did they go head to head? James?
I don't think they went head to head. I had Cole on a daily fantasy team, and he was amazing.
He hasn't pitched this whole series.
He pitched over the weekend.
That man is on fire right now.
Yeah, he's made. What is he,
4-0? He's got a .95 ERA. Named Player of the Week. 32 strikeouts.
Yep. He pitched the 10-inning game.
Yeah, he won me a few bucks the other day. That was nice.
I'll trade. Joe does. You do the DraftKings, right, Joe?
I do daily fantasy. I put a few pennies on the game
Marcus,
sometimes.
You do any of that daily fantasy stuff?
I just do fantasy football. I don't really never done fantasy basketball or baseball. I guess it's the same way. I don't know how that works. My dad does all of that, and he keeps telling me, hey, look who I got on my team. I'm like, okay, cool. Holla at me when you want to do NFL draft, because that's what I do.
Oh, I meant like DraftKings or FanDuel.
I don't mess with FanDuel no more. I always have the worst luck. You can even ask my co-host Dylan. Every time Dylan has the worst luck betting on baseball, especially with a certain player trying to hit home run or whatnot, and they don't hit home runs. He loses money. I have the worst luck betting on money lines more than on the spread. I like to just pick somebody fair and square because I never know if they're going to cover or not. I'll say they cover and they don't, and then I say they won't and they do. So forget FanDuel.
And what you're saying is we got to bet against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie, I got to ask, what do you think of Anthony Volpe so far?
I think he's got a lot of I think he's got a lot of potential for being being a very highly ranked prospect. He's the third best prospect in baseball. I mean, he's done a lot. Some things great. Like he's shown he could be a great shortstop. He's made some great diving plays already to like in the game today, he made a great diving save to get somebody out at first base. The only thing he's got to do is consistently hit the ball better. But I think he's going to be a fantastic player in this league. He's already shown his defensive ability. But now, if he can
He improve that hitting.
Yeah.
He's been on base. He's only has 9 hits, right? But he has 7 stolen bases.
Yeah, and that's to the bigger bases now. That with the bigger bases, it creates more speed and athleticism, and that's perfect for a rookie prospect like him.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, what do you guys think of these rule changes so far after a couple weeks into this? What do you guys think? Start with the pitch clock first. We'll go with Joe, and then we'll go Mark, and then James.
All right. I am all for it. I absolutely love it. You know, I've been a baseball fan all my life, but I think I've said before here too, it was like I had difficulty watching a full baseball game. You know, from the guy who said he could watch a triple header on a given day, you know, I had problems just watching a full game. And now everything's moving, and I'm just loving the whole thing. And they're figuring things out. There's been very few issues, very few negative situations because of it. And people are still making adjustments, and they're going to continue to make adjustments with it. But I think it is just, it's probably my favorite thing that's happened in baseball in as long as I can remember. I'm just loving it.
Marcus?
Okay, the clock. A lot of people were complaining about it. I actually don't mind it. I think it's 15 seconds you have to pitch. Because I remember when I was sitting in the stands, I actually was watching the clock 3 different times, and it showed 15 seconds. I feel like it's good on time, you know, so don't drag a game a lot. Because I think a pitcher should have a certain amount of time to start before they throw it. I mean, at least it's not like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. I think 15 is the perfect amount. I am not a big fan of them making the bases bigger, especially with the.
Hold on. We'll go back to that, Marcus. We'll go back to that. We're going to do bases right after this.
But what's the other rule change they had that people were complaining about? It was 3 changes.
The shift.
Yeah. That was another.
Jamie, what do you think of the pitch clock?
I love the pitch clock. I liked it when I went to the Red Wings game and they first implemented it in the minor leagues. 15 seconds was perfect. And I was like, why didn't they do this in the MLB? The first year they did it in the minor leagues, because they wanted to use it in the minor leagues, and it was working in the minor leagues. And it was like, why did it take Commissioner Manfred all this long to realize that it was working in the minor leagues? And it was like, finally, a commissioner. I know it's like a commissioner finally doing something to change the game for the better and not for the worse in the sport, right? Mind blowing, you know.
Do you guys think they did this to make people pay attention more because there's less time in between pitches and all them people were getting hurt on foul balls, not paying attention, and everything else?
No, I used to be biased and said they only did that so they could find another way to complain about us cheating.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that, to be honest with you. You know, but baseball has always been this way. You know, for the people that complain about it, you know, if you watch old games from the 70s, 80s, even in the 90s, there was no pitch clock, obviously, but things are moving. You know, people aren't touching themselves every at bat or every pitch in the batter's box. Pitchers aren't stepping off every other pitch and taking a year to throw the ball.
And there was bigger bases too. Man.
No lie. I watched when I used to have a Fire Stick, I found like a classic Astros game from like the 80s when Nolan Ryan was still pitching for the Astros. I watched the Nolan Ryan. I watched the one where he threw that no-hitter against the Dodgers. Like, I think it was from 82 or 83, because I didn't live to see that, and I've heard a lot of great stories about that. Some of them, they had tight-ass baseball pants back then, and everyone was super skinny in the early 80s playing baseball.
No, but the game moved back then, and that's how it was. And I remember watching it a couple of years ago and saying, why can't it be like this now? And the pitch clock has done that.
I was listening to the radio today as I was at work, and Steve Blass was talking to Mark Madden, and Steve Blass said, I wouldn't like the pitch clock because I pitch fast to make batters nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're used to it where they're not going to be as nervous anymore. And he said, I don't know if I would, I'd have to readjust my own strategy on it. So, I mean, that was just something I heard today on the radio from a former player. Okay, so now we're going to talk about these bases here. I thought they honestly only should have done first base because that's where the collisions happen, the ankles get broke because of close plays, pitchers running over, getting the ball from first base flips, and I thought first base should have been the only base that got a little bit bigger. That's been my saying since I've started. So, but go ahead.
I agree with that. I keep saying I would have done first base, excuse me, like the softball leagues do or the little leagues do, where they have the one side of first base on the foul territory and then the other part, on fair territory. I didn't have an issue with the bigger bases until, I wanted to see more stolen bases. But now I think it's too unfair of an advantage for the runners, and the bases are making it even more unfair. So I didn't anticipate this much of an impact on the stolen base numbers.
Well, yeah, if they already picked them off twice, they can go halfway down to second base.
Exactly. So they have that going against them, the pitchers do, plus these bigger bases. So I think they might have overdone it a little bit on the bases.
I still want to know if I still haven't seen anyone do it yet. But are these pitchers allowed to pick off, step off and throw it to the second baseman to try and get the guy out at first?
I'm not sure.
After they've already thrown over twice?
After they've done their two, I'm not so sure they can.
Does anyone know if they can do this? I don't know, but I mean,
I'm waiting for that situation to come up, I guess, to get the answer.
I think they can. I don't think they changed that part. There's no official rule saying that they can't.
Because I mean, wouldn't that be a wild pickoff? 1-4-3.
Or I mean, would they throw to second?
1-4-3.
Be able to throw to second and get the out, but they get charged with the ball to the batter? I don't know. That could be a possibility too. I haven't.
Marcus, are you looking it up?
No, I was just tallying up these damn freaking strikeouts and shit. I got the game on my phone right now.
But do you guys? I mean, Marcus, what do you think they were able to throw at the second to try and pick them off at first if they already picked off twice?
Man, they should. It don't matter. I mean, it's just. You think if they make them bigger, it could solve their mistakes, and they making more mistakes. Like they had the merge when I was at the Rangers game. They had a merge to make a triple play, but they instead went for a double play, and the double play got called back, and it gave the Rangers a run because the argument was the usual argument why the bases are so small. For example, like the runner trying to go to second, but he keeps doing the whole Jackie Robinson thing. Going back to first, going back to second, and then he slides to first, but they're reviewing if he was out, but he wasn't out because the runner didn't have his foot on the bag when he tagged him. He tagged him before he touched the plate, but his foot wasn't on the bag, so they reversed the call. The call stood, and it was a safe, and I'm like, this is why the bases should stay the way they were. Yeah, you had them still bigger, and you couldn't even tag your own damn bag. Like, it pissed me off so bad. They gave up a run.
So wait, hold on. Explain this situation real quick. What happened?
So they tried to do a triple play. They got
all right. Tell the situation real quick. Man on first, obviously, right?
There's a guy. They actually had two runners. They had two runners. They had a guy on first and a guy on second. A guy, I don't remember who was hitting. Somebody hit a fastball. Bregman caught it on the spot. He caught it on the spot. The guy was running back to second, and he threw it to second, and he was out. And then they were going back and forth. Like, the runner between first and second was doing the whole shuffle, trying not to get tagged or trying to make his base on time. Well, he throws it to first. He catches it, and he tagged him before he touched the base, but his foot wasn't on the bag. So they called it a safe. And it was a bullshit call, and it pissed a lot of people off. And while that happened, the bases were loaded. The guy on third scored, and they counted that as
So Bregman hit it. It was a ground ball.
It was a fastball. Like, it didn't even touch the ground. It went straight into his hand. Caught it in his hand. He throws to second base because the runner on second was off the base. He was running towards third, and he was running back. He tags him out, and then they go and try and get the other guy out while the third base runner ran to home plate. And when they called that a safe, that runner that ran to home plate counted as a run, but if it had been a triple play, it wouldn't have counted, and then they went to the next inning.
If it was a line drive, that means the guy had to tag up, but he didn't tag up.
It was chaotic. It was about a 10, 15-minute debacle.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to look this play up because this sounds very frustrating.
Yeah. I wish I remember who the runner was that was trying to shuffle. But remember, they all had number 42 on that day, so you can't look at numbers. You're gonna have to look at faces.
Oh, that's right. It was Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah, which that was a fun experience. I've always wanted to go to a Jackie Robinson Day game and see everybody wear 42. And then they did a tribute video to him. They did during pregame and then during the middle of the game. And I figured they would have had somebody like that knew him really well throw the first pitch. No, they got Dusty Baker's former teammate and roommate to throw the first pitch.
His
remember who he
son
was.
plays on the Red Wings now.
But it was a fun. And then there were a lot of people that wore Jackie Robinson jerseys, either Dodgers jerseys or they got Astro jerseys made or Rangers jerseys made that had number 42 on the back. So that was pretty cool too. But everyone else had Framber Valdez jerseys on because the first 10,000 fans that got in the game got a Valdez replica jersey, and me and my old lady got there early and we had ours on.
Is he going to keep it up? He's got 32. He's got 25 strikeouts and a 1.8 ERA. Leading the team in those two categories. Is he going to keep it up?
I hope so. But you never know. I wouldn't be surprised if not.
And you got two winners. Would you relax?
Well, right now, he's got 7 shutouts right now. I wish he could keep it up, but I wouldn't be surprised at the last minute somebody's going to hit it out the park, and then they're going to add another number to the home run pump in the outfield. Yeah, we have a giant, like 12-foot Phillips 66 gas pump in the walkway towards the Hall of Fame alley, and that's the home run pump. Every home run that was ever hit at Minute Maid Park, there's a number on there, and it changes. And I think right now it's around in the 4,000 category. There's been over 4,000 home runs hit at Minute Maid Park since April 7th of 2000.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
Crazy.
I think it's around 4,000. I didn't take I should have took a picture when we went Saturday to see where the number was that night.
What do you think the breakdown is like to left field compared to like right field? You know, they got that short porch in left.
Oh, they actually, let me see. I actually can pop that up for you. But see, what makes our park so special is we're connected to a historic train station in Houston, and the walkway in between left field and the station, that's where the train tracks used to be, and it's a brick walkway, and they call it Hall of Fame alley. That's where they have the Hall of Fame plaques and memorabilia walking, and that's how you get to Crawford Box.
Okay.
362 feet to left field, 373 feet from right field. 315 on the third base line, 326 on the first base line.
Have you ever sat in those seats, Mark?
Which ones?
The left field left
A
field home run section.
Crawford box, yes. One time, 5 years ago, I went to Astro Rangers game, and we sat in Crawford box. And unfortunately, I didn't catch the ball, but I got to see Yuli Gurriel hit a home run in Crawford box where we were, but I didn't get the ball. It went way over me. We were sitting like on the second level from the end. Like we were sitting really low in the box, but I've also sat in the suites. I've sat in the Honda Club twice. And funny story, I've cheated to get in that place. I mean, cheated like I don't even. You just flash a Honda key and you can get in the club for free. You and a guest. So I always get people. I say, hey, can I borrow your spare Honda key so I can go to the Honda Club for an Astros game? And they let me borrow it. I'll flash it and they let me go hang out and get the best nacho buffet you can ask for.
That's sweet.
So I'm trying to get on eBay and find me like a spare Honda Civic key or whatever, or any type of Honda key, and I can bring it with me to next game. Because those are fun. And I've also saw a game in the Michelob Ultra Club that's like way out in the outfield. If you see in the upper deck of right field, that's a brand new club they built. The Michelob Ultra Club, it's awesome.
Joe, prospects real quick. I know we're getting close here for
Well,
they called up
Yeah.
they called up Katie finally.
Yep, Brett Beatty, and it helped that the third baseman Escobar was hitting about $125 and was really struggling there, and the fact that Beatty was just totally tearing apart AAA. I think he was hitting upper 300s or something like that, maybe even 400. So it was just the perfect storm to bring him up. He proved himself last year. I mean, he got up to hit his home run his very first at bat in the majors. Tailed off a little bit after that, and again hurt himself. And he had a little injury scare first week of the season this year in Syracuse. But I think the time is right. You know, he should be up and get the experience. And I haven't seen him again since he's been up with the team because they've been playing on the West Coast. But I think it's a smart move, and I think he's going to do well.
Is Alvarez filling in for Navarro?
Alvarez is up. Again, I haven't seen him play. I mean, I've been hearing about him for a couple of years now. He's been on MLB's, top prospect list. And I've heard great things about him. I've, seen him on the bench, but again, I haven't seen him play yet. So I think he's going to be, the real deal as well. It's just
Mariuccio?
Who's that?
Ronnie Mariuccio. He's due up this year too.
Yes, I don't know as much about him. There was another guy too that I can't. A shortstop that they have.
Ventos? Mark?
I believe I'm going to have to do my homework here and look it up. But there was another guy that was very high on the prospects list. That I think it was Matos, actually. And I've been hearing great things about him. I don't know enough about him at this point, but he's another
Now, if these guys pan out, what are they going to do with Smile?
What are they going to do with who?
Mr. Smile.
Oh, I don't know. He could play other positions, but I don't know if he stays at short and they try to move these kids or how that's going to work. I thought about that myself, and I don't have an answer to that at this point. It'll be, curious. I'll be curious to see what happens.
James, got anything else?
Well, when you were talking about the bigger bases, you forgot to ask me about that, but I like the bigger
I
base.
did. I thought you talked about it.
I did. I said, but I do like the bigger bases, and I like these guys being able to steal and everything because it adds speed to the game, and it adds something different for me as a millennial fan. I mean, I remember the Yankees of the past, and this is how they won all these championships. They played the guys like Paul O'Neill and Derek Jeter and Giambi and all these guys that won. They played with bigger bases, speed of the game. And you know what? These guys now, it's going to lead to a lot of call-ups around the league. You're going to see a lot of minor league prospects get called up around Major League Baseball because it's a game of speed now with bigger bases. And as for the Yankees' top prospects, as you mentioned, we got a lot of them. As I mentioned before, we got Anthony Volpe, who's our top prospect, the shortstop. He's currently with the Yankees. He's the third best prospect in baseball. As you mentioned, we got Jason Dominguez, who's in Double-A with Trent. He's only 20 years old. He's 5'9", 190 pounds. He's a guy that would benefit with the bigger bases and stolen bases. We got Oswald Peraza, who was just called up for the injured Gleyber Torres, who's out for 6 weeks with a knee injury. And then we have Austin Wells, who's a catcher in Double-A, 23 years old. I think he could get a call up pretty soon. And then we have Spencer Jones in the outfield, who's in higher A. So
I have a
those
question
five
for you.
guys right there could eventually get deals with the Yankees in future years, could probably make the Yankees roster an opening day in a few years and contribute with the Yankees as they continue their quest for another championship since 2009. So they've got very exciting
For you, that probably every Boston.
bullpen.
I have a question for you, Jamie, that every Boston fan probably wants to know. What did you guys do? What did you guys do to sell Frankie Cordero? Franchi.
What did we do to sell him?
No, sell
Well-
him because he was horrible in Boston. Now he has 11 RBIs already for you guys. What did you guys do to solve him?
We don't have that dirty water here in New York. We don't have the Charles River like in Boston. He just wants to be. He doesn't love that dirty water anymore. Boston ain't his home anymore. He just wants to be a part of it. New York. And other than that, it's a secret. Start spreading the news, right?
Marcus, you got anything good?
Yeah, y'all talking about top prospects. I remember when Hunter Brown was in that conversation before he got called up, and now he's one of the starting pitchers. But probably our
I was gonna bring him up, but I was like, he's already here.
yeah. But we got another guy I can't wait for. I watched him play college baseball a couple years ago, and he's a workhorse, and I'm hearing good stuff about him in Fayetteville right now. But can't wait till they call up Drew Gilbert to be on the pitcher's mound. That boy was a beast at Tennessee, and I can't wait to see what he does when he gets called up to the big leagues.
Who you taking in college baseball this year, Mark? I know you're a fan of college baseball, so.
Oh yeah, my school is the number one team in the country right now, and we're not playing like it, and it worries the hell out of me when we get into the postseason. We just lost to a school that calls themselves the flagship of the state, and the only time they can beat us in any sport except football, and LSU got their ass beat by the Raging Cajuns last night. It really pissed me off, but I'm a little worried. I think they got I think it's Ole Miss we got this weekend, but it's in Oxford. I'm a little worried when we get to the postseason, like the playoffs and regional SEC tournament. They might can win it, but then you got to watch out for I think Vanderbilt's making noise. Tennessee, I think still. I don't know about Tennessee. You can throw them out of the argument. Maybe Arkansas. If you know your SEC baseball real well, that's like 3 teams to watch to win the SEC tournament. But I'm getting worried with when we get to regionals, if we can even get to Omaha, because they got other teams that are hungry to get. Like Wake Forest is actually doing good right now, and I don't even really watch ACC baseball, but looking at the top 25 right now in college baseball, it's like LSU number 1 still. You got to watch out for Wake Forest. Watch out for Florida. Watch out for South Carolina, Virginia. Coastal's getting up. Coastal's back in the top 10.
What about Cal State Fullerton? I remember whenever I watched college baseball, they were always up top.
They're not in the top 25 anymore. There's
they fell out then.
5 SEC teams in the top 10, 4 in the top 5.
Nice.
Yeah, number 2.
Marcus, we're gonna end this soon here. I know Joe's got to go. Stick around for a minute, Mark. I want to talk to you about something real quick. Something came up, so that's why I asked you about college baseball.
Okay.
So, Jamie, how people get you?
What'd you say?
How do people get a hold of you?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you asked that question, Adam. Yeah, this is a question that Evan always asks me, but tonight Sir Adam was able to ask me this because he's the host tonight of this wonderful baseball podcast. Thank you very much, Adam. You did a great job. Anyway, I'm going on a diet trail. Let's get right to the point. You could follow me on Twitter, Jamie Malloy at DJ Dog Tags. I'm constantly growing my followers every single day. So if you could follow me on that Twitter account and help me continue to grow my followers, that would be great. And I also write for a football exclusive website called Defiant Takes Football. I write for Syracuse Orange football, Buffalo Bills football, and both spring leagues in football. So thank you guys very much for listening and for listening to what we all had to say, and continue to subscribe to our podcast channel at Driving to the Top Productions. Thank you for listening to us tonight. You guys have been a great audience.
Marcus, what do you got lined up, and how people get you?
I'm on Twitter at MarcusElite337. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at OrelitePod. We have our weekly live stream tomorrow night on our YouTube channel. Of course, you guys always share it as well and share it on y'all's channel and everything. We got that coming up. Friday, I'm going to be on with Evan. We're going to talk the NBA playoffs. And then next week, we're going to have a short week. We're going to, instead of doing our live stream on Thursday due to the NFL draft, we're going to do it probably Monday or Tuesday because of the draft. Because I'm going to be so glued into that. And then I'm trying to work on probably doing like a fallout of the draft. We'll mainly focus on like the first 2 rounds. And then we can, whoever's on, they can talk about their team's draft picks or their college team of who got sent to who. Like I'll probably talk about LSU's draft prospects. I'll talk about the Saints, all their draft picks, and who I think.
Well, you got 2 Bills fans here if you want to ask them if they want to pop on.
Anybody could pop on. I know your boy, the Ravens fan, he could pop on. Evan could pop on. I think he's a Browns fan. He's a big Cleveland boy, so he could pop on. Dylan might show up. You never know. I mean, you never know who's going to show up. I think it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what happens next weekend. I'm
excited. I didn't even realize it was like coming up like now.
I've been patient. That's why it came to me. Like, with like, I'm no disrespect to the USFL or the XFL. I'm glad the XFL's fixing to wrap up. I'm surprised they actually succeeded doing a full season. The USFL kind of upset me with the attendance and the fake crowd pump noises. If you can get all 8 of your teams to play in their own cities, you might have a good viewership. But I'm just ready
next year, the year 2024, Marcus, they're shooting for everyone to be in their own cities.
Good. Maybe I can go. Maybe the Breakers will play at Yeoman Stadium at Tulane, and I can go watch them over there because I don't see them playing in the Superdome. But no, I'm ready for the real stuff. I'm ready for September. I'm ready for the NFL. Can't wait.
Joe, you ready for the draft? Oh, sorry.
And guess what, Marcus? I got good news about the XFL. The Rock and Danny Garcia are already making plans for season 2, despite the fact that they haven't even played the championship game yet. So there's good news already that you're already going to have a season 2 for the XFL.
Oh, well, that's good. They're going to expand it, or they're going to keep it 8 teams?
They're talking about a bunch of stuff like that. They're talking about that or a possible expansion too.
Well, I'll definitely be tuning in for the playoffs because the Roughnecks are in the playoffs. I think they'll probably play the Renegades because I have the Brahmas losing to the Defenders. And it's going to be the Defenders and the Roughnecks in the championship. I think they'll play the Battlehawks for a third consecutive time, or next third straight time this season. And if it turns out well, I might hop on with Evan to talk about the championship and fallout of the conference title games. I might hop in for that.
Joe, are you ready for the draft?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. Football is the last thing on my mind these days. No offense to the NFL, but I'm a big NBA fan. Go Knicks. NHL playoffs going on. Just found out my Islanders lost tonight. A little sad about that. But, baseball going on. So this is the time of year. I'll pay attention. I'll watch it. But there's just so many other things going on that I'm much more interested in these days.
So the Islanders really did it. They really tried to play that slowdown game to make Carolina suffer, and Carolina's like, no, this is the way it's going to work.
Yeah, it went to OT. I mean, they played them tough tonight, and I watched the first couple of periods before coming on here. But I tracked it a little bit here, and it did go to overtime, and Carolina pulled it off. But
I figured I had this one going to 6 or 7 games, but there might still be some time left in that. But it's all right. I got one hockey team didn't make the playoffs. The other one lost in game 1 against the Jets.
Mm-hmm. And Vegas still wins that series, I think. But
Edmonton rebound. I think they play tonight too, right? Edmonton plays tonight, right?
Edmonton's going tonight. Yeah.
That game should have just started, actually.
Vegas
I couldn't believe Seattle.
I kind of hate to do this, but as a former Sabre, I'm actually pulling for Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you got Jack Eichel, Riley Smith.
I want to see him win I want to see him win a cup. I can't root against him, even as a former Sabres fan. The guy deserves a cup. I like him still,
That's funny because most Buffalo fans want to see him fall on his face.
Yeah, I think that narrative about him being a spoiled brat and everything. Hey, the guy wanted the surgery and they didn't give it to him, and that's our problem, not his. You can't blame him for it.
But it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. But again, I appreciate you having me on here today, as always. You can find me at Joe Dell Sports on Twitter, and as always, enjoy talking sports with you.
I enjoy having you.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Joe, too. And we got to talk about eventually doing a show when the Bills start, too, and you and I doing a show together.
Count me in. It was nice meeting both of you guys, Jamie and Marcus, and I look forward to talking to you guys again in the near future as well.
Absolutely.
All right, kids. Well, I am Sports Talking It. You can find me at Sports Talking It on Twitter. Driving to the Top Productions. We're getting back into the swing of things. I had a couple weeks off. Apparently, I didn't even realize it. Easter always gets me, guys. Easter's like my worst time, but that's my own demons, and you just kick out of it after a while. So that's what we're doing, and I thank everyone for coming on, and everybody have a good night.
All right, you too.